Welcome back to Therapy Tea, y'all. Hey, Jasmine.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah,
Excited to hear it.
it's a big day, but for many reasons, but mostly because of our interview
Oh,
that we're going to share today. She's amazing.
super excited.
Super motivational.
Who are we talking to?
This week, we are sharing part 1 of our conversation with Shanaz Ikonne, who is a licensed professional counselor and registered play therapist in Texas. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from University of Texas at Dallas and a Master of Science in Counseling from University of North Texas. She currently has a private practice based in Texas where she focuses on working with high-functioning, driven individuals like moms, entrepreneurs, business professionals, and like leaders in the business world, specifically on things like stress, burnout, and emotional overwhelm.
Yes, I loved talking to Shanaz. One of my favorite things that we talk with her about is these workplace wellness workshops that she started
Yes.
doing. And I thought it was so interesting. She has a lot of really good tips for people in private practice who maybe want to diversify their income streams and maybe diversify the way that they want to work, because
Mhm.
that's one of the things that she's done really well at, is sort of creating digital products and creating these other ways of working, and particularly going into businesses and doing speaking engagements and helping them create a different work culture that is about stress reduction, burnout prevention, and just like advocating for mental health in the workplace. And
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and she's doing it via, like, her own practice, right? Like,
Mhm,
she's
mhm,
doing
mhm.
an EAP. Like, it's not like she's an HR or EAP person, like, she's just out in the fray doing this.
Yeah,
It's
she just figured it
she
out.
I
Yeah.
know. Like, she's driven.
Cold calling, man. Cold calling.
Yikes. I hated it. I hate it
Worst
still.
nightmare.
It's the worst. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I know. She's like, oh, she's so driven and she's so, like, motivational.
Yeah, I love
She's got
talking to her. Mhm.
she's got a ton of one-liners, you guys, so strap in.
Yeah,
Like, she has if you need a motivational quote of the day, you will get at least 3 from part 1, and then probably at least 3 from part 2.
it's great. Get your notebooks out.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, but before we get to this awesome conversation with Shanaz, Jasmine, what have you learned this week about counseling?
Okay. So this week, I took the plunge and I bought something that I've been thinking about buying for a really long time. I bought a walking pad. Like
Like a
for
treadmill?
Yes, like a little treadmill for my standing desk. I have a
Okay.
standing desk now. I have a rolling standing desk. So this is important clarification because I was looking so I was feeling really burned out. It's actually perfect. Shanaz Ikonne, she manages burnout.
Mhm,
Let's talk about burnout. So
mhm.
I myself was feeling burned out, right? Like we took kind of a whole month last month to deal with the burnout. So I was looking and I was like kind of unhappy with my work and I was unhappy with my job and I just like wasn't feeling very motivated or passionate about the things that I normally am pretty motivated and passionate about. And I was looking at my work history. I was like, okay, well, what jobs have I felt passionate about? Right. And it's like all jobs come to an end. You kind of lose motivation and whatever. Right. So, but I noticed that this job that I have currently is the least active job. Like,
Mhm.
as far as moving my body around. So, I've
Yeah.
worked in, like, play therapy type spaces. I've worked in with adolescents in juvenile centers,
Hospitals. You're
hospitals where you're
moving.
constantly running around, like, you're constantly doing groups. You're constantly, "I'm going to get a kid. I'm going this." ABA, you're, like, on the floor, standing up on the floor, it's, like, managing stuff. So, it's like, I am a very active person anyway, And so I didn't really even think about how, like, physical my jobs
Mm,
were, but I feel like so a lot of people, I think, I feel so strapped to the chair
yeah.
sometimes in my current job, like, where I'm
Yeah.
just seeing clients, I'm really invested, but I myself don't feel awesome. I just feel trapped. So I was like, I'm gonna just sort of ignore the whole "what will my clients think" thing of me changing it up because I think that that's a area of anxiety for me, like, I see virtual clients exclusively right now, and so I always think, like, I don't wanna change too much stuff up because then, like, they'll say something, and then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's on the other end of it, but there's, like, a weird anxiety with changing it up. I don't wanna have the
Yeah.
same conversation, like, I don't wanna do all that. So I was like, I'm just gonna sort of pretend that that's not there. How could I'm not interested in changing my job right now. So how could I make this work for me now? How could I be more active? And I bought a standing desk that's a
Mhm.
rolly desk, like the ones that we used to have in school, and like the TV, but
Yeah.
better. And
Mhm.
then I bought this walking pad, and it's been great. It's been great because
So you
I
can,
sit
like,
down,
move
I stand
around.
up. Yeah, yeah, and clients don't care at all.
Do they notice? Can they tell that you're, like,
Of
walking?
course they can, yeah,
Shoulders going?
but I just tell them like, "Hey, we're gonna do a walk and talk, is that okay today?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, great, I wish that I could. You know what? And I should probably walk." Like, it's like having a walk and talk without the consents.
Yeah. We're just we're gonna walk in place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's not like, the answer that's gonna solve my problems forever, right? Because life is an eternal dishwasher. Ugh, shout out
Mhm.
Lisa.
Ugh,
I
Lisa.
know, I know.
Such a good one.
But it's a good thing for now,
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
gets me up, it gets me moving, I feel so much better, like, I'm not
Mhm.
especially when I'm doing admin work.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god. I hate doing admin work anyway, and then
Yeah.
I have to just sit there and type notes. I feel terrible doing
Yeah.
those. So now notes have gotten a lot better because 'cause I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Do, do, 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 do," as I'm walking. It's great.
I like that you reflected back on your past work experience and pulled some nuggets from that,
Yeah.
and then sort of took that insight into the present and was like, "Oh, here's a thing that I can buy that I don't know, I'll test it out, like, I'll see how it goes," kinda thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I found a
Yeah.
pretty good price point. Shout out eBay.
Are we gonna link
It
it? Are we gonna link it in the show notes for people?
yeah, sure, sure. I'll
Okay,
do it.
alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have
everybody
it.
can get
The
into this
walking pad.
walking pad thing. I also think it's interesting what you're talking about, like, this maybe anticipatory anxiety to, like, what are my clients gonna think if they, like, see my environment has changed maybe?
Yeah.
'Cause I think about that too, like, I remember, paying a lot of attention when I was setting up my office, planning to do virtual sessions, like, I did a training where they were like, "Think about what your clients are gonna see behind you and blah,
I
blah, blah," right? And,
know.
like, so that's
Yes.
definitely been on my mind, and so then when I've thought about how nice it would be, like, if I'm seeing clients all day and it's, like, a beautiful day, and if y'all other Texans, y'all know we really only get so many of those in a year,
Right.
so
Right.
I really wanna be outside and really take the advantage here. But then I feel like, "Okay, but what about my lighting? What about my angle? What about, like, this? What about that?"
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
shit's already set up, so I'm just gonna stay in this one spot. But yeah, you're,
Right.
like, trapped in that one spot, literally.
Yes. Yes.
And so it gets so monotonous and so frustrating when you feel trapped. Are you really gonna be being the best counselor you can be if that's the case?
Agree, agree, yeah, agree, and I
Mm,
don't think that I always have been, I'll be honest,
mm,
I don't think that I always have been, just because
mhm.
it's like, I feel like, again, there's
Yeah,
this trapped feeling,
yeah,
so and it's again, are the feelings still there? Sometimes, but at
sure.
least I now have an alternative. Like,
Yeah,
if maybe I could try out walking the next session.
mhm,
That didn't feel great. Okay, well, maybe I'll just go walk it off. Because I talk to clients about that constantly. Like, literally just move around for a
yeah.
little while.
Oh, I know, right? Sometimes, like, that's That's the ticket. Just I've told clients before, like, okay, just literally get up and we'll do a lap around your house. That's it.
Yes,
Just one
yes.
lap. Like,
Yeah,
we're not
for
talking
real.
about sweating or anything crazy.
No.
Just get up and move around. Something I just thought of though, Jasmine, are you
Yeah.
ever worried about like tripping and falling mid-session?
I am, but I keep it pretty slow because
Does it go
already
fast? How
it
fast can it
goes
go?
pretty fast.
Do you
Like,
jog on that sucker?
okay, so I think it's like regular treadmill
Okay,
speeds,
that's awesome.
but it goes up to 4. I mean, and that
And
it
then you're
trust
just like moving.
that's a jog. Like,
Okay.
that's a jog. Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about like really awkward kind of possibilities mid-session and what do you do? Like if you are nauseous and you need to vomit or something to that effect. But you know what would be pretty bad is if you like tripped and
I fell.
banged your head
Yeah.
and like went unconscious mid-session. There's a
That would
risk.
be crazy.
I
Yeah.
know. But like maybe you should
Wear a helmet maybe.
these are the kinds of ethical considerations that we need
Yeah.
to go through as
Yeah.
professionals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For real. No, I hadn't thought about the idea of tripping. Have I tripped? Yes. I have tripped already multiple times. So it is probably something to consider. But I keep it pretty slow if I'm talking with clients because it's already happened that I've gotten out of breath. Like, I'll be like
I need a
trying to
glass
teach
of water.
I'll be
I need
trying to
Gatorade.
teach something and I'll just be like and I'm like, I am so authentic with clients now. I think they really appreciate it most of the time.
You're
So
like,
I'm
"Phew."
like, "Listen, girl, I'm tired." And they'll be like, "Me too." It's great. It's a human I say
I
it's a
love it.
human I gotta have a human moment.
Yeah. You're modeling, you know?
I am modeling. That is the best way. And as in the words of Skinner, the therapist creates a non-punishing experience. And what's more non-punishing than watching someone fall down and then laugh about it?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, this is good stuff. You're really sharing some nuggets
Trailblazing.
today. Yeah. I love it. Well, guys, check out Conversation with Shanaz coming up. It's a great one.
Yes, and like and review and rate and share and all that good stuff.
Welcome back to Therapy Tea, y'all. It's a great day. We've got Shanaz Ikonne with us. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I
I nailed it.
love. You did. You nailed that name.
Yeah.
Shanaz
Made my
Ikonne.
ancestors proud.
Yay.
Yay! Your ancestors from all over the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, tell us what you do currently. Just like jump right in.
Yes, I'm a licensed professional mental health therapist here in the Austin, Texas area. I'm also a speaker and wellness consultant. And so my primary goal is to dismantle the stigma around mental health and make it accessible. I've noticed that there is increased levels of trauma, burnout, stress, especially among women. And so my goal is to really support women in all walks of life. And I do that with one on one therapy, coaching calls, strategy sessions. In addition, I love talking to corporates and like wellness centers that want to include wellness and they just don't know how. And so part of the goal is to make sure mental health is accessible at work because we spend so much time at work. You might as
Oh my
well
god. Yes.
enjoy it and learn some skills while you're there. And so I go to workplace wellness sites and I teach them skills on burnout, stress, even perimenopause and ways to support women in the workplace. And then also I do consulting at businesses and I help them look through their HR protocols to make sure their bereavement policies are great, that they're supporting people when they come back from parental leave. All of that, including like digital products. And so I'm all over the place, but I believe that there's so many ways to serve and show up as a therapist. And I think many of us get into like one dimension when it's multi-dimension and how we serve our community.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes. We're and oh man, I could go on such a soapbox about this. Like we have learned one way to treat people, but actually, like life is multifaceted
Yes.
and we have to wear a lot of different hats and it's not quite so black and white or clear cut.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, and also it seems like include helping at different layers of a
Mhm.
person's life, right? Like in the workplace, but also like in a therapy session, right? Those are
Mhm.
two different ways to impact a person's wellness.
Absolutely. I think of it as like the analogy where you're skipping stones. I never could do that as a kid. I never could skip a
Oh, me
stone.
either.
When you think about throwing the stone, there's so many ripple effects. So I think about my client, their
Yeah.
family system, their community, their workplace, and how they show up. If I can serve that client, then maybe they learn to have a better relationship with their partner or their child or their colleague.
Mhm.
So even though I'm serving one person, if I can teach them to regulate themselves, then it just increases that wherever they go. So that's how I look at client care as well when I treat them.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want to dig into this like stress and burnout shit because like I need some help today with
Yeah.
that. But before we go there, can you take us back a little bit to like how you got into this profession in general? Like what's, where's the impetus for your getting into being a mental health professional?
Yeah, I think since I was a little child, I was always put in that situation. I was parentified. So I was like put in these situations where I was the mini therapist. So I say I've been a therapist my whole life, but I've only been licensed for the last 12 years. And so, family of origin trauma and things like that can really create like its own like superhero or villain era. So I really gravitated towards thinking about how people respond and how they think and how they behave. And that really pushed me into working with children. I was originally, focused on helping children, and all the jobs I had were, babysitting or after school care. And so I was really focused on children, increasing their wellness with their families. That, I eventually went off and did my undergrad in psychology. And I really loved that. But that was also during the recession. So I couldn't land a job.
Mm, but
Yeah.
you can do so much with it.
You can do so much with it.
They're like, you can do
Yeah.
anything with it. I'm like, oh, I can't even find a job anywhere. So I
Right. I am both overqualified and underqualified.
when you
Uh-huh.
say that, they would throw that in your face. It's like, "Oh, well, we can't hire you because 'cause you're overqualified. You won't stay." But it's like, "I got bills. I gotta pay things off," you
Yeah.
know?
If you pay me money, I'll hang around.
I straight up told somebody that one time. So it's like right when I moved to Austin, all I had was a bachelor's degree. I was starting graduate school at Texas State.
Mhm.
And I did what I did back in College Station. I was a behavior tech at an inpatient facility. I
Oh,
come in and I like do the interview and she was like, I kind of don't want to hire you because you're overqualified. And I was like, listen to me. I need money.
that's why I'm here.
Right, right. You want people who are overqualified, no?
Yeah.
Right?
And
Like, what's
I
the
don't think
deal
so.
with that? Like, do
I
you
don't
feel
know.
threatened that I'm overqualified?
I
Like,
really
I
don't understand that complaint either. It feels like such a lie.
Right. It would be such a benefit, though. I'm overqualified and you're paying me this low pay. Like,
Yeah.
I
let's
know.
just trade it off and call it a day.
Yeah.
Right, right. Is it
Yeah.
like, am I overqualified or am I harder to control because I will challenge you?
That's
Well,
true.
and again, it's like then the employers have this two-way problem where they're like, well, I can't find good people. Like maybe because you're not hiring the overqualified people that have asked you to pay them. Like
Yeah, give us a
maybe anyway. Okay,
yeah.
back
Anyway,
to your story,
back
Shanaz.
to your story.
We,
Yeah,
we
so I took off a year and was just volunteering at different centers. I was really focused on child life, where in hospital settings for children that have like major surgeries, you go in and you help them process,
Hmm.
which led me to play therapy. And I was really fascinated with play therapy. So I'm also a registered play therapist. And so I went off to UNT and did the play therapy program there, and I loved it. And I also did the adult track because I was like, I'm going to work with adults eventually.
Wait,
So
you mean that you can do play therapy with adults? Is that what you just said?
oh, no, like, there's 2 tracks. So I did the track that included play therapy and adults. There's
I was
different
like,
tracks.
maybe some adults could benefit from that.
Well,
100%.
I think times with, like, dementia, memory health, things like
Oh
Ooh,
my gosh, yes.
therapy, Samtre, so you can use it anywhere. You can
fun.
use it with adults
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I've always
so
said that.
yeah,
Mm.
so that was something that I loved doing, and then, you know, I met my husband, and he was in Austin, and so, I was working at a psychiatrist clinic and learning about all of that just while I was in grad school, and then once that was over, I was looking for internships, and I landed one at, like, a pain management traumatic brain injury clinic. That was not in my
Cool.
card, but I learned so much about brain injuries, chronic pain, guided meditations, and it was so interesting because it was just me that was hired, and this other guy that ran it, I never saw him. He was always in his office, so I was like, "I need my 3,000 hours," so I was just running groups all day and pulling clients, and I got my hours, and then I moved to Austin and waited for my license, and I didn't have my license in Austin, so I was, like, substitute teaching, working camps, and my supervisor, like, for my LPC was all the way in Louisville, so every Monday this is before, like, virtual era, like, I would drive every Monday.
Where? What?
Yeah,
Wait.
in
Where
Austin.
'Cause you would have
where
to meet with your supervisor
Yeah, 'cause I
monthly.
needed him to sign off on my hours, and she was really strict. She was like, "You need to come in and still see full clients." So, I was working summer camp from, like, 6 AM to 11:30. By 12 o'clock, I was on the road. Between 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock was when I drove off on 35. I barely got there, and then I'd see clients from 4 to, like, 8 or 9 o'clock at night,
Stop it. Oh
mm,
my god.
every Monday. And I'd sleep at my in-laws' house, and I'd wake up at 4 AM, drive, and then do the summer camp gig and, like, go about my day and, like, teach and do stuff. So, yeah, like, when people are like, "Oh, are you committed?" It's
Mm-mm.
like, "Yeah, I'm committed. I've driven all this way to see 3 or 4 clients that may or may not show up."
Oh
So I
my
did that
god.
for, like, a year, and then I got her signature and everything done, and then I started applying for all these different jobs, and man, like, I worked PRN at inpatient hospitals,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
worked outpatient, and any job that I found myself in, I was always promoted to, like, the leader, but with no pay. So, like, I'd be leading IOPs, diagnosis. I was working PRN because you got paid more, and then you
Yeah.
wouldn't be put on holidays, and they're like, "Can you please work?" I was like, "No." And so during that time, also, I filed my paperwork to start my own practice. I had no idea what I was doing on that, like, the Department
Mhm.
of Secretary of State form where you pay, like, $300, pick your
Yeah.
business. I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing," but I just filled it out
Yeah.
on its way, and then my business started, and at night, I would rent out office space in Lakeway, and so I was working different full-time jobs and then building my practice at night,
So
and
did you know that you wanted to do private practice, like, pretty early on, or where did that kinda
yeah,
decision making happen?
I knew that when I moved, I wanted something for myself, but I didn't think about all the things that went into it, like bookkeeping,
Mm,
marketing. It was just something that I knew I wanted to establish on paper, and then that's how it started. It's like I
mm.
worked in schools, I worked at jail, I worked at juvenile detention centers, I've
Me
worked.
too.
Yeah.
Jazz
Many
all-time
stories.
favorite thing to talk about, so we should pause
It
here.
is. It is my all-time favorite thing to talk about.
I'm happy to talk about it because I walked out. That was one of the few jobs where I walked out.
Really? I don't blame
Hardcore.
you. I don't blame you.
Tell me your experience.
Oh, I had an amazing supervisor
Okay.
at the jail. Like,
Mhm.
she was incredible. Like, she basically safeguarded all of us, which there was only, like, 3 of us. She safeguarded all of us and made the counseling department what it was. And before that, like, when she got there, I would have also walked out because she told me that her former supervisor, the one that she actually took over from, would take nap times and have her assistant cover for, like, an hour while she slept at her desk. And it was like a and this was the director of counseling.
Oh, my. Mine was
Yeah.
a very different
Yeah,
experience.
why'd you walk out?
So I was waiting, like, on the LPC verification page where, like, you're checking daily to see if it's, like, fully licensed.
Yeah.
I was in that stage, so they had me just, like, file paperwork and, like, observe and walk around. But the interesting thing that I noticed was the vibe was always off. Like, all the main director of that center would give the juveniles, like, nicknames like Babyface and Pumpkin Bottom.
Oh! Oh, no, no.
Pumpkin bottom? What?
Yeah, I remember that one because I was like, "This is so inappropriate," and all the juveniles were male. This wasn't the girl center, this was all young adolescent boys. That
My
rubbed me the
god.
wrong way, big time, and
Sure.
so there was just a lot of things along the way, and things weren't adding up, like, things that were being done, and then I mean, this is, like, the therapy tea page, so, like, I'll just spill the tea. Years later, we found out that she got in a car accident and broke her back,
Oh,
and one of
no.
the juveniles was in her car, so she was actually having relations with
Oh my god.
really common thing at that center. So
It
I knew
mhm, mhm.
so
It's
I, like
weirdly common in that community.
yeah,
Uh-huh,
a
yeah.
lot of trauma bonding and abuse happens when we're supposed to be
So totally, yeah.
these children. And the program itself, like, on paper sounded beautiful, but in person, it was just a joke. It was like, "Let's bill, let's collect funding," but we're not really helping these youth not reoffend or integrate them back into society. There was so much of that, that, like, I remember one day, like, clicking my thing and it said verified, and I was like, "Ah." I was like I grabbed what I could and I just left. You know, the
Grabbed what I could.
you can't take anything in, like, their water is
Yeah.
horrible, so you have to carry in, like, sealed water, like,
Mhm.
your lunch can only be, like,
Mm.
enough for the day, like, if you pack, like, a large chip, you can't take it because they think you're bribing the kids and, like, the youth, so I just
Wow.
you had to have a clear bag. I remember when I walked in for my training, they're like, "You need to buy the long sweaters from Old Navy." They kinda look like the bathrobe so that you can cover your bottom, like, because they said that, like, the curves on my body were too much. So I had to go to Old Navy and, like, this is the summer, you're wearing, like, a long sleeve sweater, pants, flat shoes.
In Texas.
In Texas, I was always in a light sweat, right? Carrying in the water, carrying in my clear bag, and you had to lock your phone up. You can't have your phone with you. So I remember one time trying to log into my
Wow.
gym and, like, you know how they send the password? It's like I ran to my car to get the phone, but by the time I got to my car to get the phone to get it, so it was just like you have no contact with the world. Like, once you're
Wow.
in there, you're in there. And so I grabbed all the stuff and I ran out of there, and then I reported them and nothing happened, so like, the nicknames, they would mistreat the therapist, like, I got called out one time because I had a bra and I guess I wore, like, a pink bra and, like, you could barely, like, see the strap one time, and the director called me out, so there was a lot of that, so I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna deal with this," so
Oh,
I
no.
Horrendous.
Yeah, that
yeah,
very different, very different. Yeah. The
yeah.
shout out Brittany Eglinton. Everybody called her Boundaries Bitch or Brown Boundaries Brittany.
There you
And
go.
so all the kids would like go at her and be like, "Boundaries, right? Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries." And she'd be like, "That's fucking right."
Exactly.
And that's what I mean by like safeguarding all of us.
Yeah,
Supervision absolutely matters. Like not just your supervisor, your LPCS, but like
yes.
the supervisor that you work under absolutely matters. It can make or break.
Yeah.
It can.
This connects maybe to, like, your work now where, like,
Yeah.
I can see how, like, the workplace itself was the problem there,
Yeah,
you
it was.
know? And this culture, this lack of understanding, this, like, rot in the system is makes it like, why do I mean, how would you have a healthy, like, experience as an employee in that system? It's not
Yeah,
possible.
you don't. And that was just one experience, and so throughout all the different jobs that I held, you know, I worked at a substance use recovery center, and I found out that they were billing people for services that never happened, and
Oh my
I
god.
100%. Yep.
you know, it's okay to leave jobs and situations that are unethical because our duty is to do no harm, and I can't be part of the system, so a lot of that led to me just launching into full-time private practice, but I think the
Mm,
biggest thing that I'd like to highlight is the last job I had before the pandemic, I was on site at a school, and so I'd work through schools through a grant, and I'd build, like, a trauma-informed program, I'd meet with the teachers, the staff, the students, provide therapy for all of them, and so I'd pull students and do play therapy, sand tray, and really work with them, but when I had my first baby, you know, things changed, like,
right.
HR didn't give me the full scoop about, like, my benefits, when I could return, and then I talked to all of my white colleagues, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she said we can come back whenever, we can ramp up." And my experience is like, "No, Shanaz, we need you on site, and you can only have this time." I'm telling you, and when I told them, because we had, like, a little mom group that we'd meet during our lunch break,
Mm,
they were shocked. I'm like, "I'm not surprised, but that was very stressful."
yeah.
And so, I mean, a lot of it just came down to not being treated fairly at work that allowed me to really invest in myself to start
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
business, and I know that many business owners have similar stories.
Yeah, it's like we pay a lot of attention in this profession to explicit bias,
Mhm.
like the stuff that we can see, the stuff that is known, but we don't pay a lot of attention actually to implicit bias, where it's like it's not really it's invisible, but not to the people that it's affecting.
Right.
Like I didn't even learn about implicit biases in counseling in like until well, I mean until I went to a different graduate program and got another degree. So it's like, I didn't even know, and how to self-assess, like, how to evaluate that kind of thing. So it's like it's rampant, like, implicit bias is rampant, especially in the workplace, and
Yeah.
people don't bat an eye about it because they say, "Oh, that's probably nothing." But no, no, it affects you.
Right, and when it happens to that one person, everybody should be equally enraged, and they're like, "Oh, well, it didn't happen to me, so,
Yeah.
oh, well." It's like, that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an example of implicit bias.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, with these kind of workplace experiences, I really understand where you went with your private practice focus, you know? Like, it
Yep,
seems like it makes a lot of sense how you've now really honed in on the maybe niche that you're a part of now. Can you say a little bit about, like, how did you, like I'm thinking of, like, the nuts and bolts of it. Like, how do you actually start working in these workplaces to change this stuff? Like, as a clinician, like, how do you do that?
yeah, I think the biggest part is the buy-in because a lot of times
Mm,
people think mental health is not something that they need to talk about, but
mhm,
it's so important. It's what people are leaving and quiet quitting for. They're not liking their supervisor, the workplace culture. We don't care about pizza Fridays or Gene Fridays. We wanna be treated equally and have great pay and benefits beyond that, and so a lot of the companies that I work with and I partner with all started with, like, cold emailings and calls and
mm,
connections because a lot of barriers are present. They don't want to talk about it or they don't want to say they have a problem. But then if somebody dies by suicide or if there's a death, then they're trying to pull things together last minute.
yeah,
And it's like we could do preventative versus having to repair and recover. And that goes with burnout. It's like if you're seeing a lot of turnover, you might as well bring me in and we can reevaluate what systems are working and get feedback on what's not working and make some implementations because you're losing a lot of money, you're losing a lot of the hiring, you're losing great value, good teams, and a lot of workplaces will not recognize that. And that
yeah.
Mhm.
becomes the problem because then people are leaving. And so my goal is to also make sure that people are healthy and happy at work.
It sounds like you had to really develop, like, a pitch
Mhm.
that really articulates, like, here's how I think you have problems that you don't realize you have, and here's
Right.
how me coming on board and doing XYZ, having these workshops, etcetera, would
Yeah.
be helpful. And then you just sort of sent that out to some HR people,
So,
and
yeah, so I like to
they
do a
call
lot.
you back?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I always say I keep going until I hear a solid no. So I will research the company and I'll look over their values and their alignment. So I'm not going to work and pitch Tesla that doesn't align with my values, even though
Mm.
they're down the street from me. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to find companies that
They
have.
need your help, though, by the way. They really could use it. So
I know, right? But I typically look at companies that have ERGs, they're employee resource groups, and these are
Mm.
small
Oh,
sectors
okay.
of companies that identify in certain populations. So there's usually a mom or parent ERG, a Latinx, an
Oh.
LGBT, a veteran. There's different ones. Like if you Google
Mm.
Nordstrom's, they have a beautiful set out about different representative groups of
Mm.
the company, and they bring in speakers for like women's,
Cool.
mental health month or October is like birth and loss awareness, May is mental health. So there's different months. So if you're a new therapist, you're like, oh, I want to speak. Look at all of the months out of the year and then plan for at least 3 or 4 months in advance and start pitching organizations that align with you, companies that are nearby, small size, large size scale, and just tell them like, "Hey, I've read over this and I know you have these ERG groups. I'd love to connect and book a quick call. Here's my schedule." And sometimes they'll be like, "Yeah, definitely." Or a lot of times it's word of mouth. So if I switch
Mm.
panelist thing, then I might get booked for something else and that leads to more connection. So as a therapist, like psychology today is not going to keep you booked in full. You have to get out there and
Mm.
market yourself and speak at events and negotiate. And there's so many strategies that I have around that I mean I can share or save it for a later time. But therapist, if you're talking to your client, you could develop a signature talk or speech just based off of skills you've taught them, right? If you
Yeah.
work with, adolescents with anger, talk about how to support your child's emotions at schools and pitch that to school counselors or different conferences. I mean, there's so many things that we can do. We just feel like we're limited to just being in the chair and logging in or supporting our client, which is great. But what happens when client referrals drop or when you get tired or burned out? How do you sustain yourself by being creative? And it's unlimited out there. You can talk about anything. You might as well create a digital product around it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like diversifying how you do this work enables you to just enjoy it more too, like, because
Absolutely.
you're able to be more creative around it? Okay.
Yeah, I love the that I have a lot of options. I don't like to be
Mhm,
stuck and locked into one thing. I love being a
mhm,
therapist, but I think the goal for me for this year and the next year is to do more speaking engagements and trainings
mhm.
and workshops, and then also doing more consulting work so I can serve more people.
What's the difference between doing consulting work versus doing, like, these speaking engagements with these workplaces?
So usually a company might want like a one topic or like a guest speech, and that's like a one-time thing. Or if I'm booked for a series, the consulting piece means I come on site and I observe what's going on. I do
Yeah.
some assessments, I listen to the culture, and then I create a plan of action. I meet with the leaders and develop other things that could lead into that. And that might be trainings, one-on-ones, mediations, conflict resolution, things like that to kind of move a direction. So consulting requires a little bit more boots on the ground or virtually more support and like holding their hand a little bit more through the process so that it can build it out or resolve that issue.
Yeah, this is OBM. This is organizational behavior management.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you are, like, real time doing it. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I've read about it. I've
Yeah.
never done it. I've always thought it was just, like, something like, "Oh, I can't." That's not.
You
But
can do
to
anything.
Shana's like, "I believe you when you tell me that." Like, and I don't believe many people when they tell me that. I'm, like, sitting here, like, nodding emphatically.
Yeah, because I want your listeners to know it's possible.
Yeah. I like the way you sort of talked about this in a practical way, like, think about as a counselor, what you do one-on-one with clients. Maybe you're in a niche and you do that you have the same conversations over and over. Let's be real,
Mhm,
right? All of
mhm.
us know exactly what you're talking about, especially if you have a niche. You're saying the same shit over and over again to different clients, right? Maybe even the same client. But anyway, not the point. So take that content that you're already saying over and over again and sort of develop it into a workshop or a presentation or something, and then sort of figure out where it would also fit in other places, maybe in other workplaces or
Mhm.
at, I don't know. What are some other environments that you might do these types of workshops? Is it all just at workplaces or
No,
um,
it can
conferences?
yeah, it could be conferences, anywhere there's a group of people. You could do
Mm,
retreats for teachers that are burnt out at the end of the year. Start
yeah,
pitching ISDs and school districts, charter schools. You could be working with nonprofits and churches on suicide prevention, trainings on mental health and wellness. I mean, you could really go anywhere and
yeah.
talk about this. And I think the important thing also from the business side is making sure that you record it. Record all of it, clip it, put it on YouTube, create your speaker reel. Cause oftentimes as therapists, we're like, oh, yeah, I got booked to speak for free. It's like, okay, free is great, but you need to get paid. So how do we leverage the free? Can you get all the email addresses of the registers and build out your email list? Can you record your clips? Can you get client testimonials? How do you on the back end get paid? It may not be money at this moment, but negotiate that and then start to get paid. If you
Yeah.
can get paid for speaking engagements, that means less client work and less burnout or more time for your self-care, time with your kids, your dogs, whatever makes you happy. And so think about your time and the value you put out there, and you just have to pitch it and solve that problem. That's all pitching is you're just solving somebody's problem in real time.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of getting paid, how do you get? I mean, how do you price these speaking engagements, and how do you make a decision around like which ones you're going to do for free and which ones you're going to charge for and how much you're going to charge?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it depends on your level of expertise and the need and the immediate need, right?
Mm,
So, anytime that I work with an organization, before I send a proposal, I ask them, based off of the type of services, what is your budget? That budget is going to determine if we go forward or if we scale back on the types of services, right? Like maybe you don't get the digital handouts and the follow up and like the leadership call afterwards. Maybe you just get this one presentation and that's
mm,
it. No slides, there's no nothing, right? But if you pay more and you want the recording, then we can license that and we can distribute that for a different fee, right? So there's so many things that you can negotiate. But it's really recognizing that you're never gonna get paid what you're worth. I want people to understand that money does not create your own intrinsic value. Those 2 are separate. You will always be bitter and angry and upset about a deal if you associate the type of paycheck and money you get for the type of work you do. Now, here's the going rate. This is how I price. And I tell my therapy clients or my therapy friends, right, that are therapists about really, I don't create proposals anymore unless there is a budget because otherwise I'm doing all this extra work for nothing. And also, a really great tip for your listeners is don't give away the whole recipe
Mhm.
before they sign a contract because I've had companies and organizations steal the entire proposal and hire somebody else.
Dang.
Yes, so I'm teaching you guys some life lessons. Do not send the full proposal on the objectives, outcomes, follow-ups, all of that, because they might take it and hire somebody else that's way cheap and cannot deliver. I said, "You know what? You can have the recipe, but it's never gonna taste the same because what I've the flavor, so go ahead." And you know what? They did, and they didn't renew that series with whoever they hired. I don't think it went well because
Yeah, because it didn't have the love.
they didn't have that extra sauce. But I want everybody to remember that you are the
Yeah,
secret ingredient to resolving something.
yeah,
The next time you go shopping and you walk down the bread aisle, there's like what, 30, 40 different types of bread, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you find who likes the bread and you serve it.
Mm,
You
mhm.
Oh my god. Like, Shanaz, I'm, like, struggling to keep up with all the quotes that Shanaz just threw out. Like, you just find somebody who wants the bread, and you serve it. God,
But I
that
think
might
it's
be my
also
next tattoo.
like a piece of bread.
A little
Yeah.
piece of, like, toast.
But I say this because a lot of therapists are scared of rejection. And what I
100%.
say is take all the no's and do all the things until you get that yes. It's just that one yes.
Oh my gosh. And as a new clinician, okay, so back up because I wanna talk Karen and I talk about how we kinda made this show for our former selves, like our former, like, young, new
Okay.
clinician, don't know what we're doing kind of selves.
Mhm.
So, I think as a new clinician, it's so intimidating to put yourself out there. It's also very intimidating to, how did you start with this? Like,
Mhm.
tell me, like, practical stuff. Like, it was just a bunch of cold calling. Like, how did you start? What's the starting point?
Yeah, I think that there's always been a time where I've always trained and done workshops. I just wasn't getting paid for it, right? But then when I recognized that there is money to be made in anything that you can do, and money in the sense where if I make money, the goal is to, obviously pay my bills, but it's also to invest back into my community through
Mhm.
donations and stuff. So I look at money very differently. If I have this resource and I'm going to share it also to make things better, but I also want to be smart on my time because I have 2 little kids. So,
You have kids?
yeah,
And you're this boss ass business bitch? Oh my god.
second maternity leave, I planned my whole exit strategy and remarketed my whole brand for for my business.
Amazing.
So, anything is possible is what I wanna encourage all of your listeners. Anything is possible. If you have the dream, launch the dream. Don't sit on it. You can always perfect it later. But what was the question that you asked? I'm sorry.
Like, you're a new clinician. You have just walked out of these
Okay.
toxic work environments,
Yes.
and what?
Okay, so I would have that new clinician make a list of all of the topics that excite them. What is your ideal client? Go ahead and create a client avatar, throw it in AI if you have to. Think about
Jazz.
We
right.
did. We
Oh, you
did do this. We've done this.
Jasmine was so resistant. You guys can go and listen to one of the episodes. What was it our anniversary episode when we talked about what we wish we had known about podcasting before we started podcasting?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we talked about was how I made Jasmine when we were developing this initial podcast idea, right? I was like, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about our ideal listener. And she rolled her fucking eyes at me and was like, this is so dumb, but whatever.
Mm.
And it has been so important to how we make decisions
Yeah.
moving forward,
Yeah.
just sitting down, having that conversation, like really, like we gave her a name, like our
Yeah.
Our ideal listener has a name. Who unfortunately, I can't remember it right
It
now.
was something
I had that
so
violation.
right. Yes, this imaginary person, I don't it was some dramatic ass name,
I
like,
know.
it wa and we were
Mackenzie? I don't know.
no, it was like Adonis or something,
No, it
something
was not.
weird.
It was a girl name.
It was weird like that. Yes, it was. Anyway, sorry.
This is
Okay,
more the
so
point is
you
so
do
back to the task
yes.
list. We agree so far, so we're with you. So
Yes. So
think of
create
some things that you like, ideas that you are into, and then create an ideal listener profile, and then what?
Yeah, find your ideal client. So think about what is their pain struggle? What are they going through right now? How can I resolve it? And then where is this person at? Where do I find them?
Mm.
And then go hang out at those places. Okay, you want to work with moms that are burned out and tired. Okay, market yourself in mom groups on the Facebook page. Go to events where there's doulas and midwives. Go talk to postpartum nurses. Go to organizations that offer free support. I the way that I view like finding your ideal client is find a client that invigorates you and brings passion and joy and like brings that advocacy part out in you. So for me, it's a lot of moms and stressed out moms and people with burnout because that's so real. So I find them at the gym. I network at the gym. I go to the gym. I know all the owners. We chit chat, we talk, we laugh, we cut it up because I know at the end of the day, if they know somebody, they're going to refer them to me, right?
Mhm.
In my
Mhm.
neighborhood, they know me as the therapist. They tag me in groups. Sometimes I don't even have to find these people. So it's like make yourself known, but put yourself out there. So
As
understand.
yourself too, right? Like you're being you in
Yeah,
these environments like the gym, the playground, whatever.
yeah. And then really follow up and deliver a great service. And then you can have word of mouth and then build your referral, resources. But find the client that gets you excited. And I always tell people your niche is either who you were, who you are, or who you are becoming. And it's okay to change that, right?
Wow, that actually terrifies me because I work with people who deal with divorce, and I've never been divorced. What does this mean? Shanaz, what the fuck are you saying?
I work with I work with parents, and I've decided I don't wanna have kids, so I'm just gonna cut that out.
But I'm just saying, like, it
Or
follows.
what?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like you're drawn to a certain demographic because it has nothing to do with you too, right? I mean, that could be where
Yeah.
someone's drawn to it. It's like, "Hey, I have a
You have to
great
add that into your what?
partnership." Yeah. Find out, hey, I have the energy to work with people that are in high conflict, divorce, or marriage because I feel safe and grounded in my own relationships, right? So, I mean, there could be things there. But I'm just saying simplify it, don't overthink it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
check your data. Create a Google My Business profile. I know a lot of therapists like, "Oh, I'm so worried about the bad reviews, this and that. I can't ask for reviews." But you can ask for testimonials for workplaces. You can ask from other therapists,
From,
other.
like, these workshops and these speaking
Yeah.
engagements and all of this
Mhm.
kinda stuff. Yeah, that's straight up totally fine,
Do
yeah.
SEO, find a mentor, find a free business mentor. I say every city or every major city is gonna have some type of business resource center, and they're gonna either have a grant or something where they can offer some free business mentoring, classes, workshops, things like that. It's gonna take some time to find it, but you can go on Eventbrite, you can ask other friends. I always say if you're in business, build your community, find your business besties, talk once a month, talk once a week, go over business strategy, what works, what doesn't. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Film content, be silly, show your personality online, share facts, education, build out your pillars on what you want to market and be consistent. It's not going to be a 30-day trial. It's like, no, I'm in it. I'm filming, what is it? It's like day 84, 85 of the year. Every day I film one tip of the day for mental health. And there are days where I don't want to do it or I'm tired or my allergies are so bad. And I still film it because it's just me getting over that hump. Once you can get over it, that's all it is. It's like playing the lottery. The more that you do it, the more likely you'll win.
Yeah, it's like a numbers game. Like, you just go, 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 go until eventually you're in a different place. It takes
Mhm.
one step at a time.
Yeah.
I think that's something that, if I could just be vulnerable for a second, that I struggled with a lot in private practice. Just this and I realize I struggle with that in a lot of aspects of life, like investing in something that's not giving an immediate return.
Mhm.
And I think I'm not alone in that. Like, I think a lot of people struggle with that. So I'm wondering, Shanaz, like, how that is perhaps one of the humps that you're referring to. For new therapists out there, like, what do you want to say to them who are just like, well, I'm doing all the things?
Yeah, give it time. There's always
Yeah.
a seasonality to business. If clients are slow, network, show up, host your own little event, partner with a local business vendor, put your name out there, put in some legwork and just show up at places and say, hey, this is who I am. I just want to let you know that I'm new in the area. These are the type of clients I serve. Here's some cards, drop off some treats, and then follow up. I always say follow up Fridays is a thing. Every Friday, follow up with 3 people. I think of it like leads and business is like a stove and there's water pots, right? You have some that are just like simmering, some that are boiling, some that need to kind of just be reignited. Go through your whole list.
Yeah.
Create an Excel or get a CRM, like HubSpot is free for the first however many users or whatever. Create your list of people and follow up. Hey, I'm thinking of you and I know blah, blah, blah happened. Let me know how I can support you if you need me to stop by, right? People want you to know they're thinking about them, not just, oh,
Mm.
yeah, I went to this networking event 3 weeks ago. No, you showed up, you got dressed, you put on pants, you drove yourself there most likely, you showed up with your business cards, whether your hands were sweaty or not, and you introduced yourself. Follow up with those people. Those people might know the next people that know the next people.
Yeah. You know what I also love about what you just said at the beginning of that, which is like, give it time.
Yes.
I notice myself saying this a lot to clients, but also to myself, which is like, especially in like relationship work, which I do sometimes as well. It's like, I say this a lot, like, it's the small things often, right?
Mhm.
I'm a Gottman trained couples therapist. So
Mm,
small things often make a difference. And there is no substitute for time. It's not that time heals all wounds. I don't think that's true at all, right?
yes.
It's not that time alone is going to get you where you want to go. It's
Mm-mm,
that time is a real factor in addition to all these other things, right? You
mm,
have to keep doing the small things over and over again to get the results, but you also can't there's no shortcut. This isn't fucking shoots and ladders, right? We're not going to be able to substitute time
yeah.
or find the shortcut around time. Time is just a part of the formula, and you just have to fucking wait sometimes.
Yeah,
That's just the reality of like relationship change, systems changing. It doesn't happen overnight, whether it's a family system or a corporate system,
there you go.
right? And there is no substitute for time. And so reminding yourself of that when it's like not working yet,
Yeah,
and you got to let that happen and just not change what you're doing.
exactly. I love that. I love, Karen, how you said the word yet, because
Mhm,
yet creates an opportunity to be happy.
mhm.
It's just finding the right people. I always love talking about, like, working out because I love to work out, but it's like you have to put in some reps to build the muscle. It's gonna be sore sometimes, you might have to have
Yeah,
a rest day, you might have to recover and go light, but you still show up, right?
yeah, yeah,
So, young therapist, baby therapist, if I could go back in time, I would say, think about your client avatar, think about their pain points, how you meet those points, market yourself, and then while you're waiting, continue to build out a newsletter. Sign
yeah.
up, get on LinkedIn, post out things. If you wanna be the expert and be drawn to, like, your ideal client, LinkedIn sometimes is I feel like LinkedIn's super boring. I always knock LinkedIn. It feels like you have to be cut and dry.
It's kind of
Sometimes
messy too. It feels messy
yeah,
not getting LinkedIn.
yeah, but
Somebody
you
needs to streamline the way shit looks. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly. So, like, talk about what you do in corporations, find
yeah.
connections. I use it when I research, pitching people. It's like when I read their profile, I'm like, "Ooh, is there a lot of passion and heart language? Okay, so I need to build up the emotions in my pitch. Are they just talking about data and numbers? Okay, let's just talk about numbers and retention." So there's different things you can learn to strategize, but use
Hmm.
all your free resources first. And I tell, new clients or new therapists, right? You don't need to pay the $10,000 for the master class. You don't
Yeah.
need to do all the workshops. Implement what you know and build it, and then it'll happen. People will be drawn to the work that you do, the ethics that you bring, and don't be afraid to write it all down and make digital products. Get on Canva, get on Adobe, figure out what you want to say and just sell it. Put it out there.
Yeah. Okay. I need you to talk about burnout and stress. What
Yeah.
what's the secret here?